Welcome to MAP, the bi-weekly market access podcast hosted by me, Dr. Stefan Walzer. I am the innovator of Market Access 4.0 and a health economist by training and working in the fields of market access, reimbursement, pricing, and health economics since 2004. Discover Market Access 4.0 and unveil the future with our innovative solutions. Max Insights, our fast and easy AI-based reimbursement planning platform. Dobo, our new revolutionizing way of creating reimbursement dossiers across the globe with the first and only dossier writing AI bot. Cubo, our new AI-based objection handling platform. And Waffle, train with Waffle's virtual reality genius in an immersive environment and with an AI-based counterpart. We are Market Access 4.0, so check out our website, marketaccess4-0.com. And now let's dive into the current discussions, processes, and trends in market access across the globe. Welcome to another show of the Market Access podcast. Today I'm joined by Livia Altmann. Very happy to have you. She's a former Swiss Olympic ice hockey player who represented Switzerland at the Winter Olympics in Sochi at just 20 years old. Since her career in elite sport, Livia has transitioned into the world of business and innovation, where she focuses on the intersection of human and artificial intelligence, so very important nowadays. She brings a unique perspective on how human intuition, team dynamics, and performance mindset can be combined with AI to drive better decisions, strong organizations, and more impactful outcomes. Welcome to the show, Livia.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I think very interestingly, of course, and I think also when we first met, I think is really the interaction between the various components you bring with you, right? One is the human and one is the artificial intelligence, but also let's say your former, let's say, kind of career, which is of course as well very impactful on the way, I think also how you think and also how you bring the business ideas into action. So maybe we just start with the last bit of it, and then we try to move slowly forward into the different intersections. I think when we spoke, I think you have especially emphasized mindset, mental training, personal development, all important things. But maybe we start first with your very first career. How did this specifically contribute to your success in elite sports?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know it, how important mental training is. Like a lot of people talk about mental training and mindset. I think that's a non-brainer nowadays in the sports world. But I was, since, 14, like when I read a book, then it was about personal development. It was always close to my heart topic itself. But looking back, I think it also really contributed me to be a better leader. Like I was never the one that said, oh, I want to be captain of the team, but somehow I always got chosen to be. And I think that's a big part that helped in my career, especially in team sports, being the captain and the leader. And that's also like the most important thing now when we move back to the economy. What I truly and firmly believe in, we need like strong leaders in this future. Leaders that have a good mindset, that are really aligned to themselves and have like a good energy management, that kind of are not in the stress mode, that are in the flow. Like when you play hockey, you need to be in the flow. So this is really where I make the transition, and what I've learned from sport is so important, and what helped me in sports, especially in team sports, because it's this how you work together with people, how do you bring the potential to each other. This has all to do with these skills, which we often call soft skill. I don't call them soft. They are like the power skills we need for the future.
That's a very good one. I like this one. I mean, power skill. I mean, it just gives probably just a bit of a different direction. I mean, soft skills sounds more like light, nice to have, those kind of things, right? I mean, power skill is of course very, very much differently. And I mean, we see that in all aspects, right? If you take teams which are hardly functioning, you have a lot of times, right, that kind of issue that those power skills are maybe lacking or not in the right direction, or maybe even orchestrated correctly. It's the same thing in team sports, as you just said. You could be, or you could have the best people around you with the really great skills, but ultimately, if they don't work together in the best way, I mean, success is very difficult to achieve.
For sure, yeah.
So, I mean, also very interesting, of course, when you just said, I mean, when you took a book, also when you were quite young, I mean, it was all around leadership and mental and mindset. I mean, there are a lot of good and interesting books, but I mean, maybe getting into the next step, right? I mean, knowledge is one thing. And I mean, we can all read and we can learn, we go to universities, we go to courses and whatsoever, but I mean, consuming knowledge and applying is a lot of times two different things. So I could know how I am maybe a good leader, but to apply that then in business or in daily situations, it's of course quite different. So how important for you is basically training and execution versus knowledge in achieving high performance?
Yeah, like it's exactly what I say when I do leadership or teaming workshops. We used to say knowledge is power. But I think it changed because we still have a lot of knowledge is important, but we can access it 24/7. Everyone, right? And now I think what's way more power is exactly what you said. It's the execution. It's, do you train it? Do you do it? Are you just talking, or are you being a leader that walks the talk and that actually trains? Because especially with these topics, and that's why a lot of leadership programs are not successful, is because you don't train it, because our brain is hardwired to a certain program. And if we want to change, we need to daily train it. And that's like in sports, right? If you have been shooting the puck a certain way for 10 years, and then you really want to change how you shoot it, it's really hard because it's an automatism, right? You do it automatically. So in order to switch that, you need to change that pattern in your brain, which is hard work, and what's really important. I need to really emphasize this word. It's consistency. It's the same as you go to the gym. You don't go on a Sunday 5 hours to the gym. No, you need to go over and over again. And that's what it's all about. So execution, training, and it's why you're saying, yeah, leadership, how do we do it on Monday? Well, that's the issue. We can't do it like this. And I understand that's why we usually focus on the daily tasks. But really, really, and here we are back to the mindset. A leader needs to change its mindset that it's like not a short-term change. You need to work on it daily. And I always say leadership is not a daily task. It's like a process. It's a daily being. It's not just a one-time thing.
Yeah, no, I like that as well. I think, I mean, a lot of different things in here, right? I mean, I mean, maybe going through a couple of things, what you just said, maybe a bit stepwise, right? Because I think, of course, everything what you said is very important, but maybe start with what you said a bit earlier in this last part now. I think knowledge is power, I agree, is still probably the case. However, I think a lot has changed. We're touching base on that as well a bit later when we come to artificial intelligence. I mean, a lot of the, let's say, knowledge base, I would call it, is available whenever you want to have it, right? Given the fact that, you know, you need to control and check whatsoever. But I think the key part, I think, is the application, and applications, and you also compare that to sports, is a lot of times happening under stress. I mean, when we do and run negotiation trainings, I mean, most of the time we basically spend on is how you perform and how you react, especially under stress, because then you're basically getting out of routine, right? And that's, I think, where the whole kind of, as you just said, you need to try to execute at least stepwise, right? Step by step, a kind of change, which I think is as well the difficult piece for all of us, right? Just try to change something in your daily behavior, just at home, right? it's getting very difficult. First day, not a problem. Second day, yeah. Third day, oh gosh, I had a call. I do it tomorrow. And then you're already out there, right? So, I mean, this is, of course, difficult. And I mean, we can all do workshops and the like. What is your recommendation with that respect to, of course, we can say train it. But I mean, if I want to have another skill, maybe in sports, I could just simply, in quotes, right, say I train let's say every time I go out with a team, I maybe stay for another 15 or 30 minutes and maybe, I don't know, work on one very specific piece, right? Or I have my personal trainer. But how do you do that in a business environment where we don't really have, let's say, twice or maybe 3 times or maybe 4 times a week, a pure training session? Or is that maybe a recommendation you would have? What do you see in real life in business?
Yeah. I mean, also with the New Year's resolutions and everything, what I always say after the workshop is like little steps. Yeah. But as I said before, consistency. Yes, we don't have training sessions of multiple hours a week for leadership. But is it important enough for you to take out the time? It's similar how when I coach someone on getting into not shape, but just being in a vital state. And I think that's nowadays so important also for leadership. And then I say, hey, just do it, even if it's just 5 minutes. So that's what I do. For example, I love to go for walks in the morning. It has, like, with the sunlight and with moving, it has so many benefits for you. Just your time for yourself, not starting with your phone. Just go out for a walk. I do it every day, even if it's just 2 minutes. So when we all know it, like life gets in the way, privately, business, things happen. But if you tell your brain it's important enough for me to do it, the brain knows I need to focus on it and put energy into it, right? Because the brain only wants to survive. Doesn't care if you're happy or not. So it always tries to save energy. And that's why we usually don't do it, because everything that is new, that is a change, needs energy. And if we go into our routines, into our bad routines, it will just do it without any energy. So we need to change these routines into positive ones. So it doesn't now take me any energy, because I just know I go out and go for a little walk. I don't even need to think about it, right? And same transfers to leadership. If somebody tells me I don't have time for leadership or I don't have time to train it, it's just not your priority.
Yeah.
And if we maybe after come back to AI, I see a huge opportunity in that. I already see how I'm working. It creates time. But now the time you have, is it that you just put it back into the old habits and just do more of that you shouldn't be doing? Or do you take the time and create new habits, good habits that are good for you and your company and our whole, like, we need good leaders now. So I think it's really about, like, is it enough important for you to do it?
Yeah. I think absolutely correct and absolutely agree with you. I think what I read a lot of times, I mean, it has, let's say, directions in various areas, but I think it's probably more kind of adaptable mindset. I think you need to adopt as well to, let's say, not only different situations, but also the way how you, let's say, work, how you live, how you communicate. And of course, I agree, it is sometimes difficult, especially when you get under stress. However, I mean, sometimes it's just those little things. I sometimes just take a post somewhere, right? Where I just say, I want to focus this week or the next couple of days or even a month on this very specific piece. So I just put it sometimes or a lot of times around my computer or somewhere else, just that I see it, that I'm just getting reminded, right? Whenever I'm getting into a more difficult situation or when I know it's not stressful, I see it as, okay, be reminded, try to do it until it's somewhere in the process, right? And then you can move on with the second little piece, because otherwise it's maybe also overwhelming. I guess that's probably very similar to what you just described when going out there. I am going out for a walk every time. Maybe it does not need to be 30 minutes every time, but maybe it's 2 minutes, but I do it, right? It's trying to get in that, as you said it very early, to that kind of normal flow, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you kind of bring another piece in, which I really believe in and which we need to realize. So energy flows where attention goes. Mm-hmm. So that's exactly, because we could focus on so many things, right? Or you mentioned the word overwhelm, which we are nowadays. There are so many impulses coming in. So especially with social media, right? So where do you put your focus on? And that's where the energy goes. As I said, the brain always thinks, how can we save energy? And the cool thing is what the humans can do. We can decide what we focus on. So if we go back to sports, let's not take hockey for now. Let's take golf. It's such a classic game because it's a lot mental, right? And if you are in front of a lake, and like everyone that plays golf knows what I'm talking about and everyone else can imagine, when you think, okay, just not into the lake. Oh, the lake. Like you only see the lake, the water. You only see the ball dropping into the water. You might have a memory where it already happened, right? I always hear when I go with people to play, they say, no, already last time I hit into the lake. Every time I hit into the lake. Well, what are you telling your brain? Lake.
Yeah.
So, and it's literally like, it's proven like that the ball is going to go into the lake.
Yeah.
Same in hockey, right? If you focus on, like the goalie is so big, or, I just don't want to miss the net. Like, you're going to miss the net. You need to focus where you see a little hole where you actually can shoot in. And that's the same thing in life. Like, as you said, you have a paper where it's written and that's your focus. So your brain knows that's where I have to focus and put the energy on. And often, unfortunately, we focus on a lot of negative things, on things that don't work, on insecurities. Like, don't get me wrong, we need to be careful and critical and also see the problems. But how long do we spend on the problems and are mad about the problems? We can't sleep and how much do we focus on the solutions?
Yeah, no, I absolutely correct. I think it's all going as well into, let's say, more positive thinking, which doesn't need, which is not the way to be naive, right? We need to be critical. We need to be realistic. But at the same time, of course, move into that positivity, because that helps a lot. I mean, your examples are perfectly true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly like, there was a time where positivity was a bit negative because everything is good. That's not right. But it's more, I always bring the best example. It's not about seeing everything is good and right, but it's calling a problem a challenge.
Yeah.
And it's like, athletes, they have a certain growth mindset. It's like, okay, like on the weekend, we have the best team in the world that we play.
Yeah.
Like, sign me up. This is cool. I want to play them, right? And it's more this kind of growth mindset, positive mindset, instead of everything. Yeah, everything is good in the world. We don't have any problems. We have challenges, but challenges will make us grow. So that's more the way to take it.
No, I totally agree with you. I think positivity is not to be naive and just say everything is good. No. Probably you're never in such a situation. Maybe short term, right? I mean, there could be a situation in life and business where you just, oh my goodness, it's just great. But maybe just for this very little moment, and then you need to move forward very simply. And you get other challenges. Even if you have maybe achieved one of the other kind of pieces, you are getting into maybe trouble or new challenges, or I don't know, whatever. I mean, the team is falling apart. New members might join. You get new tasks. I mean, things are changing. I mean, we just had as well said at the very early beginning. I mean, the whole environment we're currently in is anyway just changing as we're just moving. I don't know whether we're still moving. We are probably already in the world and era of artificial intelligence. So, I mean, today decisions are increasingly data/AI driven. I think it's both probably together, right? I mean, where do you see clear limits of data? And where does maybe human judgment remain essential?
Yeah, I mean, to have that said, right, my company and my programs, human intelligence, is not that I'm against AI. Like I'm truly believe it has so many opportunities. But what I think is the key takeaway is not AI against human intelligence, but is AI controlling the human intelligence, or are we still in the driver's seat?
Yeah.
So are we, and that's where human intelligence comes in. And that's where I think maybe not the limit to AI, but it is how it should be, is like that we are, and that goes back to the same principle that I already said. For example, if you're in the stress survival mode, we don't make the right decisions. So we don't work the best way with AI. So then there is a danger, a risk that we are using AI the wrong way, right? But if we are really aligned with us in the right energy, kind of like in sports, I call it the flow state. In that state, we also will use AI the right way, and we will be able to think critically, or maybe also with our intuition. Are we using now AI for the right things or not? Are we ethical and everything? And if it's just in a survival mode, we don't care about ethics anymore, right? We just want to survive.
Yeah.
So I think the human, and that's why I'm calling it human intelligence 2.0.
Yeah.
We need to upgrade it, because we are very intelligent, and on the rational level, think very far, like everything that's cognitive and everything, we are smart. But we have so much more to offer regarding intuition and being, I call it, in energy intelligence. Are you intelligent how you're feeling, how you're behaving? Because back to that, if we're in a stress mode, we can't think clearly, or we're just kind of like seeing that much. And then we come back to the focus. What are you focusing on? So then you're just going to focus on the wrong things. And that's where AI has... it's not its limits, but its danger, I think.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think sometimes I also just think, I mean, the word intelligence in the combination with artificial is probably not the right word. I mean, it can be an enabler for further intelligence. I mean, you call it human intelligence 2.0. I just noted down maybe human intelligence plus, but 2.0 is probably even better, because the plus is just a bit more. 2.0 is the next level, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a bit what we probably all need to be thinking of, but very important. And I think probably we all ran into it, at least at the very early beginning of AI, right? Where you just say, oh goodness, this is really good. I don't have a lot of times. I just go in there, I ask whatever kind of GPT I'm using, get it out there, and I have it either in a document or shared with a colleague or whatever. And then after a given time, you just recognize, ooh, that was probably not so good, maybe not perfect, or it was going into a different direction, which could also, of course, change the whole kind of team dynamics as well. I mean, especially if you're a leader there, right? So you need to live the frames you want as well others to follow. And I think this is, of course, well important. I mean, you also brought up, I think, very importantly, the work or the business environment generally under pressure. I think under pressure, you, of course, as well need to have trust. I mean, trust between each other. I'm not speaking now about AI, but AI is, of course, maybe put it into the center, right? And then we have, let's say, the team or the people around it. And you need to have, let's say, the people trusting to each other. So, I mean, when you work, I mean, I would say maybe activating teams. How do you build then trust? Trust, then also alignment, which is another piece, right? Alignment does not need to mean we all need to always agree and need to follow always the same direction, at least not immediately. We should be critical. We should be, let's say, fighting for the right kind of direction, right? But everything then together, like alignment, fighting, trust, is hopefully then also moving into performance of team. So how do you do that in your kind of daily work?
Yeah. I mean, just to emphasize it again, yes, I believe for a high-performing team, like trust is the foundation. Especially exactly as you said, if you go into high pressure, you don't have the brain capacity to then analyze it. You just need to know my players are doing their job and I do my job. And then we high perform, right? You trust each other. Everyone is in their position and they do their job. I don't need to control them. Of course, maybe sometimes quickly I see something and then I give feedback. But I think the main thing you have to take out of it is I said, they do their job, I do my job. So the focus needs to be more on myself. And that's when I do team trainings or activations. I always say it starts with the individual. We need to do personal development. And here I can go back to the story I told you. It was 14. I think for me, in order to be a good ice hockey player for a team, I needed to do personal development. If I don't trust myself, I'm not going to trust the others. So I have to know myself first. I have to reflect myself, like, where are my strengths? Maybe where are my fears? Where are also the things I'm not that good at? And maybe I have other teammates I can trust for that. And also to be humble in a way, like I'm not good at everything. And I think here we come to that vulnerability, right? Brené Brown is a big name in leadership with that. And I think it's huge. We need to be vulnerable. Hey, we don't know everything. I'm not good at everything. I make mistakes. I have bad days. And that builds trust because they know I'm going to be honest when I don't feel good, when I'm not high performing. I have a really interesting example from Patriot Swiss, right? The Swiss, airplanes. Mm-hmm. They have always fly in formations. And what's really important there is, right, like if they make a little, like really slight direction into another direction, then it's dangerous, like people are going to die, right? They need so precisely trust each other that everyone does their job. What they're saying is if one pilot doesn't feel great, they can't fly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they have to be so honest, even if their ego is maybe today is one of the biggest shows, like I want to go. Of course, they have backup pilots, but maybe a couple of them don't feel the best. They can't fly. And I think I brought up the name ego, right? Even especially if you're in survival mode, we tend to go into our ego. And that's important for the team. In order to have a trust, you need to be honest, you need to be vulnerable, that you for yourself can perform your best so that the team can perform the best and trust you.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Absolutely correct. I think I also like the example. I mean, it's probably a quite extreme example, but it's absolutely correct. I mean, we're probably not all performing in such an environment, right? Like, let's say with planes where, I mean,
yes.
If something is not working, it might really disastrous, right? It's the same what I normally just say, look, I mean, take a step back. We're not in a hospital in an emergency room or whatever. I mean, people will not die if you take maybe a second just to reflect, right? But just get into your own kind of process. And I mean, I like as well when you just say into the flow, right? And that's I think really very good. I also like, of course, when you just said, I mean, do your job and take your responsibility. I mean, if you're responsible for one specific piece, which is an important puzzle piece in the overall strategy or execution, this is important because this is part of the team event at the end of the day. And then everybody can perform because we can trust that whoever is responsible for these different pieces will do their job. So I could rely on mine as well. That's not normally as well when we do, again, going back to negotiation, let's say workshops or preparations, this is the key first step, right? And a lot of times it works really nicely. But I also remember we had once a case where the client was changing the team themselves. I mean, they had to because somebody was just simply leaving the company. But I mean, we haven't had enough time to basically onboard that new person into their own role. And I can still remember this negotiation which we then just simply had to do a couple of days later, it was a kind of disaster. I mean, I really needed to take a walk after that. I mean, just physically, I need to walk for 30, 40 minutes just to get the stress out of there, right? Then, of course, reflect. We went back. We had a couple of weeks as well to prepare for the next one, and everything was good. But it just shows a little piece. It worked before really nicely, and then everything basically crashed because trust was gone, taking responsibility was gone. It was so impactful.
Yeah. It's interesting what you're saying, because I often, when I work with teams, there are the famous team faces.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what's so interesting, what you just said, is like every time a team member leaves, the new one comes, or nobody leaves, but the new one comes in, you have to go through the team phases again.
Yeah.
Right. And this is so you have to form again. You have to go through these stages. And that's why I'm saying, hey, invest in team development if you want to perform. Because if you're just like, we just have to do our daily tests, it's exactly what you just said, that everyone can be that puzzle piece. You need to go through phases. And you also said it nicely. It's okay to have conflicts. Conflicts are not negative.
Exactly.
It's more, how do we deal with the conflicts? Do we learn out of them? Do we approach them and not just kind of ignore them?
Yeah, no, fully agree. No, perfect. I mean, we're moving a bit towards the end. So I always like to look a bit ahead, right? So, I mean, again, coming back to the AI environment, AI will not leave again, which I personally as well think we have very good opportunities as well with AI. But coming back again to skills and to leaders, I mean, which are, from your perspective, the most important skills leaders should probably now develop in order to then also stay relevant?
So I always say 3, that's also my program that I focus on. 3, so the first one is mindset. And we're talking here about a growth or adaptive, agile mindset. I think it all they're not exactly the same, but it goes into the same direction. But I think what we have to take out there is, like you mentioned it, so many things change. Change always has been the only constant we have in life.
Yes.
But what is now even more crucial about it, it's change is coming fast. It's coming faster and faster and faster. So when you're asking me, how do you stay relevant? Somebody that has a fixed mindset, that is not adaptive, that not quickly can change to a new environment, is not going to be relevant anymore, because we need to adapt and we need to learn to live with uncertainties, to not just live with them, to embrace them. I hear so many people that are in fear and that are scared and that are, oh my God, there's so much uncertainty. Yes, there is, but embrace it. Like, go with the uncertainty. Like, I believe every uncertainty also has chances. So here we are really with a mindset change. Like, leaders need as a skill a growth and adaptive mindset.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
So that's the first skill I truly believe in. The second one is also kind of what I've mentioned, and it's nice, we can wrap it up. It's the energy intelligence. Like, time management is important, but I believe way more it's the energy. Like, and here we were also speaking about emotions. Like, do you feel yourself? Are you aware of yourself being really angry and in a bad state, and then going into a really important meeting, right? We all know these meetings when you just feel like, okay, people feel it. And this is so important. You need to have your energy, a positive energy mean now the quality of the energy needs to be positive. So that's the second one. And the third for me is the personal intelligence. And that has a lot also to do with authenticity. To wrap it up again, it also goes into that vulnerability. Like, do you know at your core what you are here for, what you are good at? And there we can also combine it with the uncertainty. If you know what you're good at, if you see your potential, if you focus on that, I'm sure you still will be relevant and you will be that puzzle piece. But you really, really need to bring that puzzle piece on now. Like you need to wake up. I feel like a lot of people are now just kind of same as AI, a machine, we just function. But people need to get into their potential and power. And in that way, we become strong leaders. We need these people to wake up and go also brave, go, not just only react, be active, go. And yes, maybe you're going to make mistakes, maybe you're going to fall, but then you have a growth mindset and you will keep moving and learn from it.
Perfect. No, I think this rounds the whole kind of discussion up there. I think we can probably speak a couple of hours. I mean,
Absolutely.
There are a lot of different things we could probably speak about, but thank you very much for these insights, Livia. I think that's, very helpful, very great. And I think we're looking forward as well to the future. Thank you, Livia.
Thank you so much, Stefan.
From the Olympic Games to business, Livia Altmann has really nicely explained how team performance, basically not only differ, but especially, let's say, have very similar kind of roots between elite sports and business. I think very important kind of pieces, I think, as she as well just said a couple of times, is adaptable mindset and realistic but positive thinking in the leadership style, of course. Very important, of course, as well, is whenever we're thinking a bit about implementing AI, is to really further pressure and push basically as well towards human intelligence. And of course, with that respect, into human leadership. I think what she's basically as well saying is AI is, or can at least, be an enabler for human intelligence 2.0. So it's just the next level. But of course, human intelligence is then also being linked to trust, especially when we work under pressure, when we, let's say, need to perform under pressure. Hence, we need as well to really, really focus where, as she is just saying, our energy flows where the focus is. Hence, we need to just simply focus on the important consideration and important kind of points. Quite clearly is, as well as she as well just said, the core skills which need to be further developed, further aligned, and especially, let's say, developed for the future are the right kind of mindset, as already said, growth mindset. Think a bit how you can grow, how you can basically perform as well under pressure, of course, which is then also linked. It's all interlinked to each other, is the energy intelligence. So the quality energy, right? I mean, where do you focus on that? What do you do? Because also then the whole kind of mind is following that direction. And then finally, I mean, as she called it, personal intelligence. And this is being authentic, being brave, being active, but also being vulnerable. So really being aware where you are strong and where you maybe have the weaknesses, and where then these different pieces can really fit into the overall puzzle. So I think we're looking forward to a quite interesting future with AI. AI has already arrived. It will not go away. And I think it has really big potential also for us as humans, but we all need to adopt. That was an episode of MAP, the Market Access podcast provided by Mars Market Access and Pricing Strategy, which is your healthcare consultancy in the German-speaking markets. MAP is available every second week with a new episode, so watch out. And in case you might have questions, contact me directly and or visit our website on www.marketaccess-pricingstrategy.de.